Welcome to Side Roads. I'm Carlos, and this is a 2025 Mazda CX-70. The 2025 Mazda CX-70 comes with a 3.3-liter inline 6-cylinder turbo engine that produces 340 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque on premium fuel. If you use regular fuel, the horsepower is 319 and the torque remains the same. All CX-70 come standard with all-wheel drive, and this engine is paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. The CX-70 is capable of towing 5,000 pounds. Safety features for the 2025 Mazda CX-70 are things like blind spot monitoring with vehicle exit warning, smart brake support rear, smart brake rear crossing, front cross traffic alert, emergency lane keeping with blind spot assist, emergency lane keeping with head-on traffic avoidance assist, pedestrian detection rear, cruise and traffic support, secondary collision reduction, and turning across path. That's a pretty substantial list of safety features. The CX-70 competes in the two-row mid-size SUV segment against vehicles like the Jeep Grand Cherokee, the Nissan Murano, the Chevrolet Blazer, and the Honda Passport. This segment has been shrinking, to say it in a way. Most SUVs are moving either to subcompact or 3 rows in the mid-size segment. So there are only a few, and each one is very unique. So if you're in this segment, you will have to first think, what do I like, what do I want, and then look further. To me, the CX-70 is the best on the mid-size 2-row SUV. It's powerful, it's beautiful, it's premium, it's big. Fuel efficiency for the Mazda CX-70 is 10.3 liters per 100 kilometers city or 8.5 liters per 100 kilometers highway, which is 24 mpg city or 28 mpg highway. Price for the 2025 Mazda CX-70 starts in Canada around 49,000 Canadian dollars. The top trim goes to around 64,000 Canadian dollars. In the US, the CX-70 starts around 40,000 US dollars and the top trim goes to around 55,000 US dollars. The interior on the 2025 Mazda CX-70 is great. All the materials are soft and nice and feel high quality and very well put together. The touch points are really nicely padded and comfortable, and when you are chilling, it's even better to drive. The 4 windows are powered, of course, but one touch up and down. I like that feature, and there are 2 memory seats here for 2 different passengers. That in this model, there is a top trim, includes a steering wheel and the mirror, because the steering wheel is power operated as well. Talking about the steering wheel, it's wrapped in leather, and in this particular one, it's two-tone. It looks really beautiful too, and it's nice in your hands. The seats are Napa leather and have this Alcantara texture too, and there is a black accent here, and the stitching is a little bit in contrast but almost the same tone. It's beautiful design. They are really comfortable and more comfortable than previous CX-70s or CX-90 that I have driven. So I guess this is an update from Mazda, or I'm just lucky. And the design is simple, but it's beautiful. You have some different materials here. I really like these seats and fits me very well too. The seats are heated and ventilated in this particular trim, and the steering wheel is also heated. The back seat are also heated. We have this also Alcantara portion here in the dashboard with piping and contrast stitching, it looks really beautiful and really expensive. And this chrome piece too, it is typically chrome in the CX-90s and here, and the CX-70s, but here, because it has this Napa leather that is a tan color, it's like a dark chrome gray or something. It really looks nice in the whole interior design. You have also these leather looking trims here, wood looking trim here, and in here too, and it looks really nice, and it's not piano black, and I don't think this is wood, but whatever it is, it looks really nice. The air conditioning controls are all physical buttons and separated from the main unit. I like that, and you can control the rear air vents and air conditioning as well. There is a wireless charging here, your electronic shifter, your MI drive control here, which is your driving modes, which is in this car are sport, normal, and off-road. We have two cup holders here, the rotary knob to control the infotainment system with some shortcuts buttons here, electronic parking brake, and your volume knob, which is really nice to have. The center console is on the smaller side, but I think it's still practical and useful, and the glove box is also on the average size. There is a panoramic sunroof here too. So we have two digital screens here, one for your gauge cluster. It's a 12.3 inches and it's colored and it's really nicely designed, and you can change a little bit the views, and when you change your drive modes, the whole configuration on the dashboard also change. This is nice and practical and useful and full of information too. There is another 12.3 inches here for your infotainment screen. It is color, it's controlled, as I was saying, by this rotary knob here. It is something that not everybody's used to and not everybody likes, but while driving, if you are controlling the units, you can barely move your body, which I think it makes it safer. It is touch for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is wireless in this unit too. So at least Mazda is giving you that option, especially for those systems or features, because it's a little bit easier to touch it for Apple CarPlay, for example. But I own a Mazda and I'm super used to this. You just, as a user, you will get to use this with no issues pretty quickly. I like this unit. There is a 360 camera which is HD, and Mazda backup cameras has a feature that are wide view. So when you are getting off a driveway, you can see very wide if there are kids coming or cars or bikes, whatever. It's really handy. And by driving many cars for the channel, I have noticed not all cars have that. For 2025, Mazda included an SOS emergency call here, an anti-theft system too, which is handy to have. I fit behind myself based on my driving position, and there is plenty of space for my knees and my height. There is a center armrest there with two cup holder, and the center armrest is really soft and really comfortable too, as well as the door. The seats can be moved back and forth to gain more space for the huge cargo space, and they recline as well, and you can split them 40-60. The seats are really comfortable. The trunk or the cargo space is massive. It's one of the selling points of the CX-70 because there is no third row there. And again, you can move the seats to gain more space, and you can also fold down the second row to get a massive amount of space. I think this is a beautiful car. I think this is a practical car. The interior is really nice. So only good stuff to be said about the Mazda CX-70 2025. So how is to drive the 2025 Mazda CX-70? Very, very good. And this is a thing about Mazdas. They keep improving and improving their vehicles each year. They may not do huge overall updates, but they keep looking back at their customers and their cars and keep adding features and improving the cars, but also making sure that they correct any other things. So this is somehow a brand new vehicle. It is based on the same platform and the same size, almost the same than the CX-90, which is a 3-row SUV from Mazda. The CX-70 eliminates the third row, so this is a 2-row sitting mid-size SUV, and just give you a little bit of extra space for cargo, and it's for those that doesn't really need a third row. So it is good, and it also has a few extra different exterior design elements, which helps you to separate the CX-90 from the CX-70. But my point was, they launched the CX-90, and I think that CX-90 needed a little bit of extra cooking time. But since then, they have been doing software updates and some recalls and some mechanical updates to get it up to where Mazda quality team believe the car should be. And I completely agree with that. But also, they launched the CX-70 and then also continue improving the car. So I have driven the CX-90 and the CX-70 plug-in hybrid, which I really liked, and I immediately saw all the improvements comparing to the CX-90. So watch that video in the channel. And I also driven the CX-70 GTP, which is, or the premium, the Turbo S Premium, I believe, in the US, which is not the top trim, but is, have other elements or whatever. I drove that too, and I also found that better than the CX-90, but comparing to the plug-in hybrid, I like the plug-in hybrid better because of all the driving components working better, like the transmission and the engine and the batteries. All that really helped that car, so I liked it. Now I'm driving the CX-70 Signature in Canada and Premium Plus in the US, if I'm not mistaken, and this is now the best of these cars that I have driven. Much more improved. These have 3,000 or 4,000 kilometers on it, so it's brand new car, and you can tell that not only Mazda has been improving and updating the original or the first cars out of the CX-90 and then the CX-70 even, but now they are coming from the factory with all those improvements. To start with, the cabin. I believe this cabin is even more quiet than the CX-90, for example. And it could be, maybe they added some insulation. I'm not sure if this is has happened in Mazda, but I can tell this is a quieter car. And I like that because the CX-90 was already a pretty good, pretty nice, very quiet car. So that's that. Then it's a suspension that in general, by the way, I'm a Mazda fan, but in general, I have loved the CX-90 and the previous CX-70. This car to me is a special, it's premium, it's punching above his weight, it's great product from Mazda. But now that I have driven more and more cars for the channel, I find that the weakest link for the Mazda CX-90 platform was the suspension. Although it's really comfortable in the highway and really good in general, and also have a little bit of a sportiness because the configuration is really advanced, and the setup and the tuning was for high driving dynamics. When going through bumps and things like that, I find that upsets the car. An interior in the cabin, it transfers a lot of that to the cabin, especially at low speed and in bad roads or heavy bumps or some things like that. And I love it for so long, but for example, I drove the Nissan Murano and even the Mitsubishi Outlander, the 2025, and it's incredible what they have done with the suspension. Well, now this one compares to those. It's much more improved. And again, Mazda, thank you Mazda Canada for providing the car, by the way, but if I'm saying something that's wrong, please reach out, because I do notice the difference between this one and the previous one that I have driven, and now this suspension is on par of all those super amazing suspensions that I found in those two cars and many others for the channel. So far this is a very good story, because you can tell Mazda pays attention, and you can tell maybe they launched the CX-90 too early, but they have corrected that. And if you buy one today, let's talk about the CX-70, you will be fine. Then the transmission. This is an 8-speed transmission from Mazda, which I really like and appreciate, because I don't like 9s and 10s. To me, those are too many shiftings or gears. So I like this one. It's really smooth when shifting, and if you are chill driver, then you will love this. When you float it, it's quick enough, and you feel the shifting there. I like the behavior of this transmission in general. There is a little bit from a stops thing that still needs to be fine-tuned. Much better than the first Mazda CX-90 that I drove a year ago or more, but still not perfect, but much better. And I think most people will be happy with this. And I have driven other transmissions that are way worse than this. Not that this is bad, but you know, not as good. So again, another good story to tell about here. I'm really impressed about that, on Mazda paying attention and knowing that the cars were not where they wanted the cars to be, maybe listening to customers and applying all that to this. Really, this is kudos to Mazda for behaving like that as a brand, and especially because they want to be a higher, more premium brand. This is how you behave, and this is how you handle your brand and your products and your cars when you want that. This is great. Then the seats. Again, I would love for Mazda to tell me if I'm mistaken, but these seats are more comfortable, they are softer, they are nicer, they are perfect in my opinion. Seats is a personal thing, so test drive your car before buying it if the seats are a thing for you too. This is just much better, and to me now they are perfect, and I'm super surprised that they haven't done something with the seats this early. So good there. Visibility is great for this car because the windows are big, and there is a third window there for the passengers in the third row. The back window is in an okay side. I have no issues. The mirrors are good. You have blind spot monitoring here. You have 360 high definition camera here too, which works really well. The D-pillar blind spot is big, but you can handle that with the other features, and that's also typical of this category of cars or this segment. So it is good. The brakes also improved in my opinion. The feeling of these brakes is way better than the CX-90 that I drove a year ago, and they feel more natural. This is a mild hybrid vehicle, so there is that regen feature on the braking, so this feels a lot better than the original ones. There are good brakes and they have power. They can stop the car considering the size and the weight. It's all good here. Really good too. So the engine. Let me go first to the steering. So the weight is also very good. It's not too soft, not too heavy. I also find the steering improved here. The first generation or the first batches of the CX-90, I find the steering was a little bit heavy at times. Perfect for me because I like that, but for most people, and especially on this segment, maybe this was something that they needed to address, and they completely did that. So another thing that they keep looking at is really responsive, it's really direct in my opinion. When you take corners, these cars shines, is really good, but it's nicer now. Keeps the weight to it, but it's softer and easier to live with. So more points to Mazda on that. And then there is this engine. This engine is something special. I have driven plenty of three-row SUVs, so plenty of cars in this market that Mazda is competing against. Mid-size SUVs, 2 rows, and is the star here in my opinion. It is really responsive. It sounds straight. It's a sweet engine and has all the power that you need. It's really quiet when chilling, and really satisfying, powerful engine. Again, a gem from Mazda. This is the reason why I will always go for this vehicle in this category. Everybody else is moving to 4 cylinders turbo, which is fine. They have a lot of power and they are great, but there is something about this engine that many people is comparing to a X5 from BMW. The configuration is really similar. It's a rear biased rear wheel drive platform with a 3.3 liter inline 6-cylinder turbo engine, so all that is good. Obviously Mazda is not BMW, but it Mazda $20, $30, $40,000 and they probably will be better. So all good. I guess the word of the day for the Mazda CX-70 2025 is much improved, which it was a great product to start with. So this is now really hard to beat. This is something that for the money you will not find anywhere else. I strongly suggest and recommend you to go and test drive it if you are in this market, because you will buy this. The 2025 Mazda CX-70 represents exactly what Mazda can do and where Mazda wants to be, which is a few steps above the market. The CX-70 can perfectly be the best 2-row mid-size SUV